If you've been dealing with neck pain for a while, it's very likely that at some point someone has told you that your phone is to blame, that you should put it down, look straight ahead, and not lower your head so much. We hear it everywhere. Your brother-in-law, his brother-in-law, and even the physical therapist often say it. The whole texting-related neck issue, which is called text neck, the cell phone as the main culprit of modern neck pain. And the reality is that when you look into the serious studies published in recent years, that idea simply doesn't hold up. But before we begin, I want to let you know that Shoulder Week is coming back. The best event to relieve your neck pain that happens only once a year, this time from June 22nd to 28th. I will be live for 7 days offering you the best information, tips, and exercises to improve your health and quality of life. Simple as that. You can click on the link that appears right above me in the description or in the first comment of the video. We scroll down here, enter your email at@gmail.com, and you'll be registered. You'll immediately receive an email in your inbox. If you don't receive it, check your spam and promotions folders, and at the end you'll reach this web page where you can also join the WhatsApp community for the program. It's very useful because we know that emails often end up in spam or promotions, and in the end, you might miss a class. Tap here from your phone, join, and that's it. Your number will never be shared, and I'll be the only one who can post in that community. For more information, below is everything we'll cover each day. Find out if this event is for you and hear from lots of people who've already done this neck week before. I truly hope to see you live on June 22nd because I'll be giving my all to help you improve your neck pain. There's a fairly recent study done with college students that seriously measured this. They took a large group of students, looked at what devices they used to study, how much time they spent, in what posture, and saw who ended up with neck pain and who didn't. What they found completely breaks the narrative we've been hearing for years. People who used their phones to study had a lower risk of neck pain than those who used a laptop or a tablet. Yes, you heard right. Less risk. The device everyone blames was, in this study, the least harmful of the three. And the tablet, be careful with this, turned out even worse than the laptop. Because it combines the worst of the phone, a small screen that makes you hunch over, with the worst of the laptop, holding the same posture for hours to watch a show or study. And this fact isn't just a random outlier that slipped into the scientific literature. It's consistent with what other studies show about posture and pain. There's a pretty large meta-analysis that looked at the relationship between forward head posture and neck pain across different age groups, and it found something interesting. In adults there is an association, but it's very weak, much weaker than you would think from listening to people talk. And in young people and adolescents, there was no significant association found between posture and pain. That is to say, the generation that uses mobile phones the most, the young people, are precisely the ones that science cannot link to neck pain. If the theory we've heard so much about text neck were completely true, young people should be the ones most affected, right? And they're not. In this video we're going to see where the idea that the mobile phone is the villain comes from and why the laptop comes out worse than we thought. And at the end, I'm going to give you 3 practical tips to use your devices without them becoming a problem. Because the real villain isn't either of them. To understand why we were sold the idea of the cell phone as the culprit, we have to go back about 15 years, from the moment the cell phone became a device we carry with us all day long. Headlines start appearing about text neck, that term invented in English to describe looking down at your phone with your head bent like most people on public transportation do, caused enormous strain on the cervical spine. Infographics appeared with arrows and numbers, saying that when you tilted your head, you put more strain on your neck, 20 kilos more, 30 kilos more, 40, and that if you tilted it even further, your neck had to support even more weight. It sounded scientific and went viral to the point that nowadays anyone will tell you about it as if it were a proven fact. The problem is that infographic, those images, were based on a very simplistic biomechanical model. They calculated the theoretical force that the neck would have to withstand if you held a posture indefinitely. But humans don't use their phones like that. We don't spend 15 minutes with our heads stuck at a 30-degree angle without moving. We move our necks, we move our bodies, we look up, we change posture constantly, almost without realizing it. And that's what really matters when it comes to neck pain. Here's the key to the whole video. When a person uses their phone, they're in what researchers call a dynamic posture. You readjust yourself on the couch, look up if someone calls you, bring the device to your ear, then look down again. Even if your average position is with your head forward, your neck changes position every few seconds. And that constant change is what keeps the neck muscles active and supplied with blood. Happy. Now compare this with how you use your laptop. You sit at the monitor, it's lower than your eyes, you lean forward, elbows fixed on the table, hands on the keyboard, and you start working. From there, you can spend 2, 3, 4 hours in exactly the same posture, without lifting your head, without moving your arms, without contracting your trapezius muscles, staying still. Something very specific happens physiologically here that most people don't know about. When a neck muscle stays contracted and immobile for a long time, what happens is that the small blood vessels that supply that muscle get compressed by the tension itself. Less blood reaches it, less oxygen reaches it, metabolic waste products that are normally eliminated with movement accumulate, and obviously the muscle enters a state of chemical fatigue, not fatigue from exertion. The typical pain you feel here in the trapezius area when you spend a long time at the computer is chemical fatigue. And that sustained state, day after day, month after month, is the perfect breeding ground for chronic neck pain to appear. You're not damaging anything structurally, nothing is breaking, but the neck starts to send alarm signals because it's literally poorly nourished, it's not getting enough oxygen or blood. When you break the immobility, even if it's just with 2 minutes of walking, standing up and turning your head, the blood vessels open up again, oxygen comes in, waste is removed, and the muscle resets. That's why breaks work. They're not just a nice recommendation, they're a very specific biological mechanism. I'll share an example from my practice to illustrate. A few months ago, a programmer in his late 30s came to me with neck pain he'd had for 4 years. He had tried conventional physical therapy, he had tried almost completely giving up his phone during the day, he had slept with 3 different pillows, he had done everything and nothing had changed. The first thing I asked him was how many hours in a row he spent in front of a laptop when he was programming. He told me that when he got hooked on a problem, he could sit for 4 or 5 hours without moving from his chair. And that was really the problem. It wasn't his phone, which he barely touched. It wasn't the quality of his sleep either. It was that 5-hour stretch spent glued to a laptop. I asked him to set a timer to force himself to get up every 40 minutes, even if it was just to get water or use the bathroom. And that during the day, he should do some short tasks on his phone while walking around the house. In 3 weeks, the pain had been cut in half. Not by using his phone less, quite the opposite. By adding it to his routine to help him leave the chair. The programmer's case is not an exception. It's very common to see improvements this fast in 3 or 4 weeks, especially in people who work in front of a computer. When immobility ends but nothing else changes, there's an interesting explanation for it. When you've spent months with your neck chemically fatigued, the nervous system enters a state of hypervigilance. It sends alarm signals with very little stimulus. As soon as the area starts getting regular blood flow, those signals decrease very quickly, much faster than people expect. You don't have to wait months to notice changes. But you do need to maintain the habit over time so that the improvement settles in and doesn't disappear the first week you get caught up in a project for several hours at the computer again. And obviously, this really changes the way we have to look at our devices, even our necks. The rule isn't that cell phones are bad and laptops are good or the other way around. The rule is that any posture held for hours at a time takes a toll on your neck, and that the laptop tends to trap you in that position much more easily than the cell phone. I always say it, the best chair is a church pew because it's so uncomfortable that you'll be moving constantly. But obviously, if you spend 6 hours with your phone like this, barely lifting your head, the result will be pretty much the same. That's due to the nature of the human body. Alright, let's get to the practical tips. Very quickly, if you work with a laptop, taking a break every 30 to 45 minutes is the most important thing. You get up, walk around for a couple of minutes, look out the window, move your neck, do some shoulder shrugs, and that's worth more than any posture corrector you can buy online. If you can also raise your laptop so that the screen is at eye level, that's perfect. Connecting a USB keyboard so your hands aren't up here is even better. But the main thing is movement. The second key is to stop demonizing the cell phone. Pick up your cell phone to send 3 messages, to check a notification, to do a search. That's not the problem. Many times it's that cell phone that gets you out of your chair because you take it to the couch, to the kitchen, you pick it up while walking. That's exactly what your neck needs. And the third key, the most important one, if you have a neck that's been hurting for years, you don't just need to take active breaks, but also work on the deep muscles, those muscles that are supporting your head, so your neck can improve its tolerance and strength over time. And that's exactly what we're going to do very soon during Neck Week from June 22nd to 28th. I will be live for 7 days working on the 3 main pillars for your neck: mobility, strength, and stability. An event that will be completely free and where I will also share a lot of information with you so you can understand what is really happening to you. You have the link down here in the video description. In the first comment, you go in, leave your email, and you're in. Your neck is not made of cotton, it's not fragile, it's not a victim of your phone. It's a strong and adaptable structure that only asks for movement and consistency for you to challenge it and exercise it. I hope this video has made you reflect and see neck pain from another perspective. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying until the end. I hope you can also share it with people who need it, and above all, I hope to see you on the 20th. 22 live with me to start improving your neck pain for good. Best regards and see you very soon.